What's up, guys? On this week's show,
we discuss what's happening with the Flash movie.
Thanos' backstory is cut from Infinity War.
And condoms are the new cocaine?
All that and more on this episode
of One Giant Leap for Geeks.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for
Geeks. Welcome to another episode of OGLFG, where we talk about movies, video games, and all things in geek culture. I'm your host, Mike C. Squared, and with me is my co-host, DJ Melly Mill.
Hey!
Good, I'm glad you remembered, because I was like, is she going to do it again? Like, the whole time I'm like waiting with like bated breath. I'm like, is she going to do it again?
The anticipation is killing me.
Because I didn't bring it up beforehand, and I'm like, is she going to remember? It's like, oh, she did it, yes. See, now we started the show off right.
See, this is what happens when you don't have me on for... It's been 2 weeks since I've been on the show.
I know. Oh, shit. It has.
Because I didn't do last week.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, didn't you do the week before that by yourself?
No, I think we did one in between. And then, because we did a Drake and Twitch episode together. It was the one before that. So, yeah. So, for people who are just now listening, expect every other week I'm... No. It's just that these last couple of weeks' schedules didn't quite, mesh the way we would have liked them to.
No.
But it's all good, though. DJ Melly Mel is back, so you can stop worrying.
All two of you.
Right, me and you.
Right. The two of us.
Oh, somebody's listening. You know what? Speaking of which, humble brag. There's someone some bodies in Los Angeles that have been listening to us a lot. I know over this last week, we've been getting a lot of hits in LA. And I'm like, I wonder who it... Do you think?
Is it Ryan Reynolds?
Right. Okay. So before we get into anything else...
I bet you it's that producer guy.
Yes. So before we get into anything else... For those of you who may not know, we did an episode a few weeks back talking about the Tag movie with Jeremy Renner and John Hamm, Hannibal Buress, and a few other people are going to be in it. And we had some not so favorable things to say about some of the actors in the movie, specifically Hannibal Buress. I kind of went in on him, as the kids would say. And yeah. So... Here is a little flashback, because we like to put our foot in our mouths here on One Giant Leap for Geeks. So for your listening pleasure, this is from episode 12.
Anyways, how cool would it be as if, somebody that is a part of this comic book universe that we are so deeply in love with, if they could hear us?
Oh, yeah.
Or if they're listened regularly, or...
I can't wait until Christopher Nolan hears you talk shit about his crowning achievement, The Dark Knight.
Him and Christian Bale can come at me, because...
Come at me, bro.
Yeah, come at me, bro. That's it.
So, yeah. We fucked up. So, Melissa made that little comment, and we... Unbeknownst to us, we posted the episode. It went live. I tweeted it out, and the producer of the Tag movie saw the tweet, and he himself retweeted it. And yeah, I'm pretty sure, hopefully, that he did not listen to it. And I sure as hell hope Hannibal Buress didn't catch wind of that shit, because I was like, I don't think he's funny, but I'm pretty sure he's a professional comedian, and he'd eat me a fucking live, like in a heartbeat. Like he don't know me, he ain't seen me. He would just probably have enough just to hear my voice and roast me for probably a good hour, and it would make me probably want to go kill myself. But yeah, so moral to the story, be careful what you say on the internet, kids. You never know who may be listening.
And when it's going to come back and bite you in the ass.
Yes. And now, as of yet, no one's tried to sue us or or anything.
We appreciate that. This is all in good fun.
Yes. We've lost all 0 of our sponsors that we had, so I think we're at -1 now, actually.
Mm-hmm. Side note, Captain Stephen Hiller was going to bug me, by the way. We were talking off mic.
Yes, about Independence Day.
Independence Day.
I was wondering what you were over
here
looking
for the
up.
life of me, we couldn't remember
Will Smith names.
character.
Yeah.
Yep. No.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
Yes. Well, no, because now I want to give it the full context. Okay, so how this
back
started?
Up, rewind.
Yeah, was when we were getting set up. We're putting on our headphones and all that jazz, getting ready to bring you folks this good show, and I was making a joke about how my ears are pointy because you can see them sticking out from the headphones. I feel like I look like Spock.
Which he really doesn't. There's like less than an inch sticking out, by the way.
And that's what she said.
Of the ear from his headphones.
Right. To clarify. So I was talking about how my ears were pointy, and DJ Melly Mel goes,
Well, I reference, hey, look at Will Smith's ears. Not to, mad props to Will Smith. You rock them. Love it. But...
Oh, I can't wait till Will Smith hears this shit. Wait till Jaden hears this shit. He ain't gonna...
It'll be all right. All in good fun. Anyways, I go on to further say that...
No.
A lot of people noticed Will Smith's ears in Independence Day.
No. She starts by going, your ears aren't pointy. They're just big.
Trying to leave that part out.
Yeah. I was like, just kind of just gloss over that point. Yeah. But yeah, so then we started talking about Will Smith's ears and how big they are, and then she brought up how big they looked at Independence Day, and then we started going on a tangent about
Throwing
that.
me under the bus.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. They're all gonna know that you said I have
You know what?
big ears,
It's okay.
Dumbo looking motherfucker.
I did not say Dumbo. That's a whole separate story.
No.
Nor did I say Will Smith's ears were big Dumbo ears. Thank you very much.
No. But anyway, so yeah,
I happen to find you both be very handsome men, so call it good.
Well, thank you. I was gonna say, I don't think I could pull a Jada Pinkett, but I'd try. I mean, I heard they've been on the outs for a while anyway.
Well.
It's like, hey, you can swap me out, and you have a new big-eared motherfucker that can be in your house. Anyway, so this week we're gonna talk about something from my childhood that is making a resurgence, and the fact that it is going to be coming back makes me feel old in and of itself. So if you haven't heard, they are in the process, I suppose, of making a Bill and Ted 3, which they didn't say what it was going to be called. So the first one is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Mm-hmm. The second movie is Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Uh-huh. So what do you think? So it would have to be, the first word would have to be like, a word that references like something is good or bad. So like you could say, Bill and Ted's cool.
No.
And then, okay, but just spitballing here, just spitballing. And then the second part would have to be something for like a traveling in some way, like a journey.
Bill and Ted's Gnarly Descent.
Ooh.
Score one for DJ Valley Bell.
Copyright one giant leap for geeks. Yeah, Keanu, you gonna have to call me for that shit, bro, because you ain't getting that for free. Well, wait, what was it? One more time.
Bill and Ted's Gnarly Descent.
Oh, that is good. That is so fucking good.
See, I also watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bogus Journey when I was a child. So you can't be old.
well, the thing is that if the movie does come out next year, it will have been 30 years since the original movie came out.
And yet Keanu has not aged one bit.
I know. This motherfucker, look, talking about black don't crack. Look, Keanu don't crack. We were just talking about off mic that Keanu Reeves doesn't look a day older than he did in The Matrix. He's just more gray. I'm like, but he doesn't look like old in the face and shit.
Nope, he's just got that intentional gray. He's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Silvers here and there.
Yeah, a little salt and pepper,
Yeah.
Shit. Who doesn't like seasoning?
There you go. Copyright that bad boy.
Right. a little salt and pepper ain't never hurt nobody.
Yeah.
But for those of you who may have never seen the movie, who may not have been, old enough and never went back and watched it, the original Bill and Ted came out in 1989. It was directed by Stephen Herrick, and it stars Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, and George Carlin. Two of those three names you probably will recognize. One, not so much. Basically, the whole premise of Bill and Ted is it's these two high school slackers who basically, in the future, they start a band and their music helps to change the world. And George Carlin is from the future, and he time travels back to the past. And to help them ace a test that they have to take, because if they don't pass this test, then they won't go on to become the Bill and Ted of the future. Which, the moment you... now, it's a comedy... So it's like if Back to the Future and like How High had a baby.
Pretty much.
It would be Bill and Ted.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
And like throw some Mallrats in there too or something like that.
So basically your typical 90s.
Yeah. Like
comedic.
The Breakfast Club or some shit like that. That was...
no, Breakfast Club was a little...
Yeah, not so much quite crazy Bill and Ted.
Makes me think of more along the lines of Jay and Silent Bob.
Jay and Silent Bob, that is a good one. Yeah, so Jay and Silent Bob, How High, and what was the other thing I said?
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future had a baby. It would be Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
They travel in a phone booth.
Yes. Yeah. George Carlin's character, he disguises the time machine as a phone booth, and that's what they use to travel through time in the movies. But it's like, it's a comedy, so you have to kind of just let a lot of shit just go. But if you stop for more than 10 seconds and think about it, the whole movie falls apart. And a lot of time travel stories do. Because if you think about it, if they go on to become these people and he's from the future, why does he have to come back in time to help them do anything that they've already done? Like,
or not done.
Right. But, I mean, if you think about it, his future would not exist if they haven't already done this.
Right.
He could not have traveled back to fix anything if it didn't already happen. And if he knew that they were going to fail the test, then they must have never passed it in the first place for him to know in the future. Like I said, if you think about it too long, it all falls apart. But anyway.
Just go with it.
Yeah, right. Just go with it. But the movie at the time was actually pretty well received critically. It made a decent amount of money. I think it had a budget of $10 million and it made like $40.5 million. Now this is like 1989.
Yeah, you're talking good money back then.
Yeah, so yeah, this shit might as well have made $1 billion by our
Sure.
And then they made a sequel to Bill and Ted. Excellent Adventure, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. That came out in 1991.
I don't think that one was received as much.
I don't think so. I mean, it
we had Wayne's World that year, and I think they were kind of competing. And Wayne's World was such a high presence on Saturday Night Live that I think Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey kind of got pushed aside.
No, you're absolutely
also
right.
One of my favorite movies, by the way. I remember being 3 years old and wanting to watch that.
Yeah.
My mom had to buy me 2 copies of the tape because I wore it out. I'd rewind, play, rewind.
I would have hated to have been into like rock and shit like that during that time, because it seemed like everything in pop culture was making fun of people like that. It was like if you like Nirvana or any kind of shit like that, everybody was like kind of fucking with you about it. Whatever.
You got to pick and choose what you're going to get made fun of, because apparently you can't avoid it no matter what you're into.
No.
So.
And I don't know, and you're probably right about the critical success of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, but as far as financially, it didn't do nowhere near as well. So
No.
That movie the sequel had a budget of $20 million.
Okay.
And it only made $38 million. So it only made $18 million back in profit, as opposed to the first movie, which was, what did I say, $10 million, and made $40. So, it like tripled, its budget, whereas this didn't even double it. So, yeah. Anywho, in the sequel, the guys,
they go back in time.
Well, they go back in time in the first one.
Well, they go back in time again.
Sure, but this time they have fiancés that they're getting married to who are historical figures from the past,
right?
That they have kept in the present, which, again, if you think about it for more than 10 seconds, the whole thing falls apart. Because it's like, well, wait a minute, if you stole them from the past, then that past that they lived never happened now, so then how do they even exist in this time? And yeah, whatever.
Right.
But anyway, in the sequel, someone who from the future who doesn't like... Basically, like, their Reverse Flash, comes back from the future to the past to fuck up their lives, and he makes these life model decoy robots of Bill and Ted who go on to kill Bill and Ted, and they go to hell, and then they meet the devil, and then they have to play a game with the devil to win their souls back so they can go back to Earth. It's this whole thing. Anyway, it's campy, it's schlock, it's fucking, it's 90s movie comedy bullshit. But it's endearing. It really is. I mean, the concept is dumb. The writing is not all that great, but the characters are what made that movie.
Sure, yeah, the characters were everything.
Yes, yeah.
And even if you don't remember the movies, you remember the names Bill and Ted.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Basically, Beavis and Butthead are basically caricatures of Bill and Ted. And not far from, I mean, all the way down to the brunette and the blonde, and everything. They love rock music. Yep. And they were pretty much Bill and Ted. I was going to say.
For anybody born, in the last 20 years and you have no idea what we're talking about, Google it.
Yeah, I know. Google Beavis and Butthead. Google Bill and Ted. Google MTV, because I don't even think that's even a thing anymore. I mean, I know it's still called MTV, but that damn sure is not the MTV I grew up on.
Heck no.
There was actually
music
on MTV at a time, believe it or not. It was more than just Jersey Shore and fucking Teen Mom. But
basically, you take YouTube and put it on a TV channel.
Pretty damn
MTV.
Much. Pretty damn much. Well, the reason that this whole thing got brought back up is that
there's a picture.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves. Facebook. Yeah, Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter did a photo shoot with, I don't know if it was Entertainment Weekly or something like that, but basically it was kind of like a throwback to the old Bill and Ted poster where they were both in the phone booth. They have like the haircuts and like the outfits and everything from their characters from those movies. And it kind of got people talking and shit again. And I guess they did an interview, and one of the people who was working on the script, he said that the film will follow on from the prophetic words uttered by Bill and Ted's mentor, Rufus, George Carlin, who comes from the future and brings them the knowledge they'll one day write music to save the world. Says, you're told you're going to save the world, and now you're 50 and you haven't done it. Now they're married, and it affects their marriages, and it affects their relationships with their kids, and it affects their everything, he explained. Keanu says, indomitable spirits confronted with, is this the end? Reeves added. Of course, there is a little caveat in that someone comes from the future and says, not only do you save the world, you have to save everything. They're basically saying that they want to try and get it wrapped up soon. He says, we are hoping to close a deal with some financiers, Solomon said. Hopefully within the next month or so, we'll have some news that will stick. They go on to say, and real quick, I didn't give the shout out to my source, independent.co.uk. Thank you. They say, indeed, the team already have a director in the form of Galaxy Quest's Dean Parasot and original producers Scott Croft and Steven Soderbergh. Yes, Steven Soderbergh on board to produce. Bill Sadler will also return in the role of Death. That's cool that they got him back. With Solomon teasing a few delicious cameos by people to be named another time. So, yeah. Would you want to see a Bill and Ted 30 years later? I don't necessarily want to see, like, Grandpa Bill and Ted, you know what I'm saying?
I was scrolling on Facebook the other day, and I saw I don't know if it's a leaked photo or a fan photo or however it come across on Facebook with them in the phone booth. Mm-hmm. And I immediately got excited. I was like, oh, that's Bill and Ted. And then, of course, when you're scrolling Facebook on your phone, you go pretty quickly.
Sure.
And you skim over, and if there's anything, that catches your attention, you're like, oh, hey, wait a minute. And I had to back up. Mm-hmm. So I did. I backed up, and I was like, oh. I was all excited, because that's 90s nostalgia for me.
Yeah. I think that's a big reason I'm excited is nostalgia. But then when I start kind of critically thinking about it, I'm like, can this work now?
Nah. Anything with Keanu Reeves works for me. So
me too.
I'm going to go see it. Like, even if it sucks, which I'm not expecting it to.
I hope not.
I'm still going to see it.
Oh, for sure. No, I just think that it's crazy that it'll be 30 years come 2019 that since the first movie came out and that people are still fond of it and still talk about it. I mean, there's no like active like, IMDb message boards, like they're just, newest post 3 hours ago about, Bill and Ted. He's like, do you remember the scene where the robots in the second movie threw them off the cliff? And they're like, no, like we're not talking about that.
Yeah, but for most of us that are at that age where we grew up watching that.
Sure.
The same with anything, the Ninja Turtles, the comic book cartoons, the Saturday morning, grab a bowl of cereal and some Dunkaroos kind of thing.
Digimon.
Yep, the Digimon. Dunkaroos came in, it was a snack that you...
Yes, yeah.
Had like frosting and little animal kangaroo shapes.
Yeah, it was like animal crackers and fucking like...
sprinkled frosting. Yeah, basically birthday cake frosting.
Pretty damn much. Yeah, they pretty much gave you just sugar on top of sugar and a little Lunchable kit. And it was like, there you go.
Good old 90s.
Hell yeah, like drinking fucking pure syrup that they put fucking Fruitopia labels on. And they're like, drink this, kids. That shit would just rot your whole fucking mouth out after like 2 bottles. Oh, God. Trust me, if y'all know what I'm talking about, then you know what we're talking about.
Yeah, that whole 90s nostalgia thing, it kind of, it's hitting close to home, getting close to the big 3-0 myself.
In the feels.
As the kids say these days.
Yeah, the big 3, no one says that.
No, not even I was talking about in the fields.
Oh, in the fields, okay.
The kids say in the fields.
I don't think they say that anymore. They're like, we're on to some other shit now.
They're on to snorting condoms and eating Tide Pods.
Oh, yes. And... that would have been a perfect segue, but I'm not quite ready yet.
Oh, getting ahead of you again.
I know.
Damn.
No, it's all good. I just want to bitch some more. So that's what we do here on One Giant Leap for Geeks.
Pretty much.
Mike C. Square likes to complain about shit. Sorry. One thing that I thought about while I was thinking about this. Good job.
That was my wrist, by the way, for any of you that were curious.
I was like, jeez. Keanu was able to still maintain and even grew a bigger career after Bill and Ted. Alex Winter, not so much. Not so much. I went and did some research on Mr. Winter.
Okay.
Because I
Please
remember,
enlighten me.
Yeah, because remember, we do top-notch research here at One Giant Leap for Geeks. Thank you, Wikipedia.
Yes.
And IMDb.
And Google.
Yeah, right. Alex Winter only has 26 acting credits to his name.
Really?
Yes. And half of them are voice acting credits.
Wow.
He has a gap between like 92 and like 2006 where he wasn't doing anything. And then when he did start doing stuff, it's like okay, now to be fair, Keanu probably did the same thing, but he does the voice of his own character in the cartoon of Bill and Ted. Like, there was a cartoon series.
Yeah.
He does the voice of his character in the show. And I'm like, oh my God. That would have been like could you imagine if Bill Murray would have did the voice for his character in the Ghostbusters during the Ghostbusters cartoon? He'd be like, I'm not doing this shit. Like, I'm Bill fucking Murray. Like, no.
I thought he did.
No. I don't think any of the actors actually did their voices for the cartoon. I just think it was voice actors who were good at mimicking them. Or at least, I don't know. Find out and let me know. I told you, top-notch crack research team.
See, because I know that, what was they had the Beetlejuice cartoon?
Sure.
I want to say that was Michael Keaton.
No, Michael Keaton. No. Do you think so?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Okay. All right. So... stay tuned.
Okay, Lou Shamar, Peter Cullen, Alan Oppenheimer. No Bill Murray.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Okay.
No, I mean, just I don't want to hate on Alex Winter, but I'm like, he needs this shit. Like, I forget who I made the joke about they need to hit. Oh, I think it was Jeremy Renner. Actually, sorry, Jeremy.
Nope, it wasn't.
Yeah, Alex Winter needs a hit so bad he would be willing to let you hit him in the face. I knew it wasn't. I was like, man.
Stephen O'Medi.
I'm like, Michael Keaton was like, bitch, I'm finna be Batman. I ain't got time to be doing no motherfucking cartoon Beetlejuice. What the fuck?
I think yep, he was Batman at that time.
Yeah, because Beetlejuice and then Batman, I think, was his very next movie. Because
the cartoon Beetlejuice came out September 9th of 89.
Yep.
And Batman was released in November.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, I don't know what month, but I know because I always refer to it as the 89 Batman.
Yes.
Or the best Batman.
Yes.
Anyway, even though I made like a whole episode talking shit about Michael Keaton's hair, you were still my favorite Batman, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, poor Alex Winter, though. That guy, he needs a hit. So, I mean, I hope that this comes out. I hope it's good. I mean,
I lied. Batman was released in June.
In June. Yeah, I couldn't imagine that a movie that big at that time wouldn't have came out in the summer, but who knows? It was 89. It was doing weird shit back then.
Yes.
They were letting Prince make entire soundtracks to movies, so...
Still my favorite soundtrack, by the way. On the exception of Kiss by a Rose from Seal.
Okay, that's... You know, I almost would say... Overall, sure. I'll say that the 89 Batman soundtrack is probably the best of all the Batman soundtracks, but Bat Dance is bullshit. That song and that video is trash. Oh shit. I'm going to choke DJ Melly Mel today. Sorry. Yeah, no, Bat Dance is some bullshit. Bat Dance? No, God. Get the funk up! Like, what is happening right now? Prince, God.
Is it sad that I have that song on my phone?
Yeah, it is. My favorite song of that soundtrack is the Scandalous. That's my shit. Like, I don't even know the rest of the words of that song. I just remember that because it was towards the end. Because every time I would watch that movie on VHS when I was a kid, towards the end of the credits, that's the song that would come on. It was do 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 Scandalous, and I was like, oh shit, I love it. And then in Batman Returns, my favorite song was the one that Catwoman and Batman dance to when they figure out each other's identities. It's the face to face, my lovely foe. Go Google this shit, kids. Y'all missing out on good fucking music. Anyway, I'm glad I'm singing this, so can they still copyright that? I don't know. Somebody tweet me what the copyright rules are for karaoke or singing, covering another.
I know if you lip sync to a song, then Facebook will yank that shit so fast for copyright laws.
Oh well, yeah, because shit, you ain't did nothing but play the song in the background and didn't. Anyway, okay, enough. Bill and Ted, we're done. We hope that it's good, but whatever. It's Bill and Ted. We'll see.
If you know nothing, you'll at least know Bill and Ted.
Mm-hmm. Look, and you got to get some Batman 89 and 91 trivia, so yeah, there you go. Shit, did Batman Returns come out in 91? I think it did. It doesn't matter. Either way.
92.
92, okay. 92. All right, so 3 years, whatever. Okay, so there is an epidemic on the street. Mm-hmm. Hide your wife. Hide your kids. Hide your husbands.
Kids, Jesus.
So the newest internet challenge that has swept the nation, and I am doing this with big air quotes over everything I'm saying, is the condom snorting challenge. I don't even know.
Not to be confused with the condom balloon challenge, just so you know.
Oh, yeah. This is a different dumb thing that we're doing. So, oh, God. How do we get here? Let's see. So, this whole thing kind of started back in like 2007. And what happened was... is someone uploaded the video of them doing this very thing, where basically what they'll do is they'll take a condom, they'll unfurl it, snort it up their nose in an attempt...
Unfurl it?
Yeah, is that not a... Can I not use that?
Sure. Why not? Anyways, proceed.
She's like, nigga, what did you say? So they take it and they unroll it. There you go. They snort it. And you keep snorting until you get it to come through your nasal passages out of your mouth. Mm-hmm. And then you take it and you floss your sinus cavity, I guess is what you're doing with it. I don't really know. Again, the end goal here is confusing because at least with the other challenges, I kind of got what you were doing. It's like at least with the Tide Pod challenge, it's I'm trying to kill myself. And the
fire, is that what that was?
And then the fire challenge is I'm trying to kill myself. At least I understood what the goal was with these. With this one, I'm just like, I don't necessarily know if this is an efficient way to kill yourself. If that's the end goal of all these challenges.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the end goal of any of these are. They all seem
internet ridiculous.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that is
do what we
the
do.
end goal.
Just make a podcast,
right?
And do that if you want to be internet famous. Jeez.
I've seen so many reports of kids coming in because the condom, first of all, is not supposed to be in your nose. Secondly, it's not supposed to be coming out of the back of your throat. Thirdly, there are reports of people who have gotten condoms in their lungs and in their stomach from normal activities that involve condoms.
I'm glad you brought that up.
When this first report come out about the condom snorting, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And then I started doing some research on it. There are people who have died from having condoms inhaled into their mouth through oral adult activities.
Blowjobs. It's okay. There's a parental advisory thing. It's good. You can say sucking cock on here. It's fine. To the balls. Work the shaft.
Anyways. There are people who have died from having inhaled the condom via oral sex. And
fellatio. Go ahead.
Why would you intentionally try to bring a condom through your nasal passage? An area that empties into your throat to begin with. That's not the smartest thing in the world. There are so many things that could go wrong with this. It could get stuck. It could get stuck in your throat. It could get, it could break. Most condoms have lubricants. That's going to cause irritation. That's going to cause infection. Don't even get started
on the fucking spermicide that is on the condom.
Exactly. That's not meant to be in your nose.
No.
And your nasal passage and your nasal cavities are so sensitive already that aggravating them is probably not the way to go.
No. And
this is April, and we're already on what? Challenge number 3?
You're right. Each month we're getting
we're getting something new, and I'm like,
well, see, okay, this is my thing. First off, like I said at the beginning, this is not the first time this has happened. This started back in 2007, and it kind of died out, and now it's popped back up again in 2018.
It's because in 2007, kids were 10.
Right. Well, my thing is, even with the Tide Pod challenge, these things are not an epidemic as much as the news tries to make it seem like.
Right.
I, looked into like the Tide Pod challenge back when that was like right around like its peak and whatnot. And more people started doing it after the news started reporting on it so much. Then it's just kind of like, with some people who are like, we don't like to show the names and faces of like mass murderers and serial killers and stuff because then that just spurs on copycats to go do the same thing to try and get some kind of recognition and publicity. Right. And same thing with this. It's like if we didn't latch onto it and just run with it so hard, it would come and go so quick, just like it did back in 2007. I'm sure probably one video went up, people looked at it, was like, this is fucking stupid, and nobody ever did it again after that. It took 11 years for it to pop back up again, because it was dumb.
We had more common sense back in 2007, I think.
Well, that too.
A little bit. Well,
that too, but to your point that you were making earlier about the condoms and how they're bad for you and whatnot, I went and did the same thing. So it's this guy, Dr. Amar Ali. He says, you are literally putting something down your nose, which connects to your mouth, which connects to your trachea. And he said that, you're risking choking on it. He also goes on to say the nasal passages and sinuses have special cells that can be damaged if objects such as condoms are placed in them, potentially leading to a bacterial or fungal infection. He also points to a 2004 report, to your thing, published in the Indian Journal of Chest Disease and Allied Sciences, which documents the case of a woman who accidentally inhaled a condom during oral sex, which led to pneumonia and a partial lung collapse. A more recent report from 2016 found a woman suffered appendicitis after she accidentally swallowed a condom during oral sex, and a piece of it lodged in her appendix.
Yep.
Real quick, I need the names and addresses of both these women, because good Lord... I'm like, I don't know what kind of dick sucking they was doing, but the fact that a piece of it got stuck in your appendix, like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so I was saying, like, Hoover for real. But they say, even if you successfully complete the challenge and pull the condom out your mouth, the bottom line is that it's incredibly irritating and a good chance it will wreak havoc on your sinuses, nasal passages, and upper airway. These should be reasons enough to discourage you from attempting this dangerous challenge. And I got that from CBS News. So
the fact that it's a condom should deter you enough for putting...
Yeah.
You know, I'm all for safe sex and using condoms. Please use them in the appropriate locations.
Right.
If you're having sex through your nose, you're doing it wrong.
That would be one of the wrong holes. So I think that the reason that this gets around so much is that because, especially in this day and age of like 24-hour news cycles, it's like,
sure.
The only thing that's going to get attention is something that's new and shocking and something that's going to get a reaction out of you. Mm-hmm. So when you hear kids are snorting condoms and shit, you're like, well, fuck, what is this about? You know, and it garners attention, just like the Tide Pods did. The only challenge... The Tide Pod one kind of, sort of, but like I said, I feel like we gave that way too much credence than we should have. The only challenge that I felt deserved the amount of coverage it got, and we should have been like, don't do this shit, was the fire challenge. That was the only one where I was like, please, for the love of God, I don't know why we have to explain to people not to set yourself on fire. I mean, literally setting yourself on fire. Yep. It ain't just like, you know that thing you do where you get, you know, a sock that got all the fuzzies on it, and you'll burn the sock and watch all the little fuzzies burn up. You never did that thing before? You never seen anybody do that?
No.
Like, take off their sock and they'll just take a lighter to, like, their heel.
No.
And it'll just, like, it'll be for, like, a split second, but a flame will just engulf your foot and burn up all the little fuzzies.
No.
It looks cool, but then the room stinks because it smells like burnt hair and feet. But... that is the closest thing I've ever seen anybody get to burning themselves willfully. When we got to the point where we're like, oh, we just finna just straight up set ourselves on fucking fire. I'm like, okay, god damn it. Like, stop. But I mean, with this, eventually it'll die down. It'll go away. But I wanted to make the point of this. We gotta stop shitting on the Generation Z kids.
Yeah.
Because millennials and before did just as dumb shit. We used to eat paint chips. We used to sniff fucking markers and shit. We used to microwave foil and all kind of dumb shit before the internet came out.
You remember the Mr. Stench markers?
Yes!
And those things, they were scented markers, for those of you that don't know. Mm-hmm. They encouraged sniffing markers. Sniff it, yes.
So, you know, fucking...
The Ready Whip, snorting the Ready Whip. Do you remember that?
Yep, I've watched kids fucking super glue their hands together and shit.
Yep. Put the glue in your hand to try to see if you could peel it off.
Yeah, which I never did that. Never understood why people did it. Like, what was the...
I never used super glue, but you know the white Elmer's glue?
Oh, yeah, with the Kyle on it, yeah.
I used to think it was cool.
Which always threw me off when I was really young, because I'm like, is glue made out of milk? Like, what is this?
Made out of horses.
Right, there you go.
I used to put it on my fingers and pull it off to see if I could lift my fingerprint.
Oh, is that what it was?
I don't know what other kids used to do with it, but I was really big into forensics and, you know, Criminal Minds and CSI and stuff like that. So I was trying to see the fingerprints.
You were a little Dexter.
And I was looking to see if mine were actually different than other, you know, people in my class, or I'd look at it to see if I could count the whirls and loops. So I was using it for scientific purposes.
This is for science, please. Thank you. Please step away. I'm conducting an experiment, right?
Yeah, that was me right there.
And they're like, yeah, all right. We're going to need you to get to
I like the Dexter reference, by
the
way.
You finally caught that.
Yeah, I caught that.
But yeah, so I mean, just to give some context, yes, it's dumb. Yes, these challenges, if it wasn't for platforms on the internet, they wouldn't get around as much. But at the same time, I feel like if the news would stop feeding into it, it would die out much faster than what it is. But, I mean, hey, I'm just waiting for the next new dumb thing. I'm waiting for the stab yourself in the stomach with samurai sword challenge.
Well, damn.
Like that. When can we just go ahead and just say, fuck it, chop your own fucking head off challenge? I saw one, and it was obviously fake, and it was a Photoshop and everything else. But I saw one, and it was called the Cut Your Own Dick Off Challenge. And it had a dude smiling with like a dick in his hand, and I'm like, yeah, don't let too many people see this shit. Because some dumb motherfucker out there will be like, I could be the first.
You know, I think somebody already has. Tyler was telling a friend of ours the other day about...
Can we call him something cool?
Yeah, he needs a name too.
He can be T-Money. Anyway,
T-Money, I like it.
All right, look, there we go.
T-Money.
Yep.
So he was telling one of our friends about some stupid stuff that we have seen, or the worst gory, gruesome things we've seen, or whatever.
Sure.
Anyways, he referenced the Pain Olympics.
Oh.
Okay,
This doesn't sound good already.
No. There was a gentleman on the Pain Olympics who decided to dissect his own penis on live TV. So...
Why? Why do you hate yourself that much? Like, what? Do you just look at your dick every morning and be like, I hate you, and slam it in a drawer? Like, what? Oh, my God. He was dissecting his...
Yep. From the underside.
Oh, God. Give me the strength, Jesus, please. Oh, this is... Oh, God.
So, trust me, there's some crazy people out there, so I wouldn't put nothing past anybody.
You ain't never lied. So public service announcement, don't snort condoms. Don't look, if you're going to snort stuff, do what our parents did. Use cocaine. Don't do this other... Okay, I'm not...
One Giant Leap for Geeks does not advise drug use.
Right. The thoughts and opinions of the hosts are theirs solely and do not represent One Giant Leap for Geeks Incorporated. Even though, as I said, we're not a company.
And we are One Giant Leap for Geeks Incorporated.
Right, pretty much. Yeah. We are the company. Anyway.
Don't do drugs. Don't snort condoms.
Yeah. I mean, or do, whatever. Just make sure, hey, look.
Don't record it for the internet.
Yes. Yeah. I do not condone bad decisions. But if you want to give us some material to talk about one week and you did some dumb shit, please tweet at Giant Leap, the number 4 Geeks on Twitter. I'm going to get, like, dick pics. That's all it's going to come. That's all it's going to get.
You're going to have, like, a dick monster.
Oh, my God. Yes. Oh, God. It'll be all the dicks that people have cut off of themselves. And they'll make it into, like, a shrine. It'll be... Okay, you remember
Lorena Bobbitt?
Yes. Do you remember Hey Arnold? You remember the shrine that Helga had to him? Yeah, it'll be that of me, but they'll be made out of dicks. Yeah. Hey, I'd be honored. Thank you. that you would take the time to make my likeness out of a bunch of, dissected penises, all that shit. Anyway, moving on.
Oh my.
So, yeah. I'm convinced. I am utterly convinced that Warner Brothers has no idea what the fuck they're doing. Like, completely convinced. They have one good movie in this DCEU. Mm-hmm. And it's Wonder Woman. And that's by default. Because Wonder Woman is good, but it ain't all that great. It's okay.
It's good for movie. Nothing to compare to.
Right. I was going to say.
Other things to compare to, but...
They may as well be nothing. Okay. I'm kind of on the fence about Man of Steel, because I do like elements of that movie.
Really?
I do like elements of it. I like the action in the movie. I like the special effects and stuff. I like all the flying stuff with Superman. Looks really cool. But the way he's characterized, I don't like at all.
See, I didn't care for Man of Steel at all. I took 3 kids and another woman. Well, they weren't like little kids. They were, I think 10, 7, and 8 or something.
Okay, sure.
So they weren't like real little. But I took 3 kids and a friend of mine, and we went and saw Man of Steel, and I was just like, oh my God, this movie needs to end. I was the one waiting for the ending. Like, is it done yet? Is it done yet? Where the kids were all intrigued in the movie. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, God, this is the worst movie ever. This is so boring. I didn't know if it had to do with the fact that I'm not a Superman fan.
See, and that's the thing. I think when they made that movie, that they made that movie for people like you who aren't Superman fans. And they're like, this ain't your daddy's Superman. Like, and it's like, yeah, he breaking necks and shit now. And it's like, yeah, but I don't necessarily need him to do that to be cool. I'm like, I don't need you to turn Superman into fucking Rorschach and shit. Like, God. I'm like, he can still be Superman and be, like, cool. You know, you don't need... Again, perfect example. Not to be riding Marvel's dick all the way into the ground. But look at Captain America. Captain America is Marvel's Superman.
Okay.
He is the embodiment. He's a good person. He's positive. Mm-hmm. He always fights for the little guy. But he's still cool. You still look at Cap and respect him and be like, you know what? I'd go to the bar with him. You know, I would hang out with him. And he's still cool. He's still a Boy Scout.
Yeah.
He's still like, you know, I stand behind my morals. I mean, look at Civil War and shit. You know, like, Tony's like, you know, sometimes want to punch you in your perfect teeth. Like, you're just too good.
Right.
But you still like him and he's still cool. That could have been Superman. But no, they went too much into the we got to make him dark and conflicted and shit.
I think you're right to a point. Like, I'd go hang out with Cap.
Okay.
I'd be like, all right, hey, Cap, you want to come play some cards or go get a beer or play some pool or whatever.
Sure.
Superman come knocking on my door. Now, before I say this, I like nerdy guys. I've always liked nerdy guys. Mm-hmm. So the whole Clark Kent thing wouldn't bother me.
Sure.
But if Superman come knocking on my door, I'd look at him and I'd be like, no thanks.
He'd be like, good afternoon, citizen.
No, not gonna happen.
Is this your cat in a tree? Get the fuck off my goddamn porch.
That would exactly be my reaction.
Like, I bet you use your x-ray vision to look and see if I was in here too, you sick son of a bitch. Like, I'm calling the fucking police, you goddamn peeping Tom ass motherfucker. I ain't got a cat. What the fuck is you talking about? Is this my cat in a tree? There ain't no tree out here.
I chopped that tree down.
Motherfucker, I live in the middle of downtown New York. Where the fuck do you see some trees at over here? Anyway.
Yeah, so
starting from Man of Steel, going on, you know, from Batman versus Superman especially, to Justice League, Suicide Squad, everything they put out has been shit. Except Wonder Woman. They've been cobbling together this Flash movie since 2 years ago, I believe, like...
Since Suicide Squad.
Yeah, the movie was supposed to have been out, I'm pretty sure, either last year or this year already. Mm-hmm. The movie's supposed to have been out. And we still don't know what the fuck the movie's going to be called now. I'm like, we've pushed this shit back so much. It's to the point where it's like, are we even going to try and make this movie? Or are we just going to keep pretending that we're going to make this movie?
It's going to be another Netflix original.
It may as well be at this point. I mean, okay. At this point, I don't even care what happens in the movie. But whatever they do, they need to teach that boy how to fucking run. All right? The kid that's playing Flash and the Justice League and shit, Ezra Miller.
Oh, my God.
I don't know what the fuck they were. I don't know. Okay. At first, I was like, well, maybe they just didn't have the time to teach him how to run. But I'm like, no, that don't make sense because everybody who came into that movie for the first time, you know, Aquaman, Cyborg... You know, they all had to work out and train and get fitted for their costumes and that and the other. I can't imagine that nobody would have took the time to go, hey, the one character whose whole thing is him running, we're going to sit him down and teach him how to run properly and how to look good running on camera. When he runs, his legs like flail out to the sides. And he does this weird thing with his arms and shit. Now, when I was watching it, I was like, oh, I think I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to like... mimic the comics.
Yeah.
Because, okay, to give an example of what I mean. When the first Spider-Man movie came out, one of the things that they really put emphasis on was trying to get his poses down.
Right.
So, like, when he's in the air and he got his legs kicked out and he's all contorted in some, like, unnatural way, they're like, okay, how do we get to that frame? So it's like they had to figure out a body language for Spider-Man to get him to that point where he have that pose, but then it could flow into the next thing.
Right,
and it looks like a natural movement and it makes sense.
Right.
that's what I thought they were trying to do in Justice League with the Flash, because if you ever read any of the comics or see covers or anything like that, when he's running, no one runs the way they draw him in the comics. Like, his arms are stretched out all crazy, or his legs are going in some weird direction. It's like, that is not a natural movement.
Like, that looks painful.
Right. So I was like, well, maybe that's what he's doing in the movie. Maybe he's trying to mimic that, but he just can't quite get it right. But then after a while, I was like, no, he just don't know how to fucking run.
I'll say it almost looks like, what is that? Where they stretch their arm out and they like tilt
dabbing?
Yeah. It almost looks like what he's trying to do.
You know, god damn it, now that you say that, it does seem like that. Fuck. Oh god. Now every time I see the Flash run, I'm just gonna think of him dabbing the whole time. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't have anything against Ezra Miller as an actor, but I don't like the way he comes across as Barry. I don't. I've watched too much of The Flash on CW now to where I'm like, man, you got to come correct. Like, if you're not going to use that kid from the CW show, even though that show can be corny and dumb sometimes, at least if you're going to put somebody else in the role, make them better than that guy, or at least at that level.
Right.
Like, if he popped up on an episode of The Flash, he would never make it through that whole episode. I don't need...
Be like, no.
You're not my Barry. You're not the real Barry. But,
can I sidebar for a second?
Sure.
We're supposed to be getting this Aquaman movie in December.
Sure.
And I have not seen anything like...
Thank you.
No set release, no... Other than a date, you know, I've not seen any kind of costumes. I've not seen no commercials, no teaser trailers, nothing. So where's our Aquaman stuff?
That movie comes out in 8 months.
December 19th.
Yeah. 8 months, nothing. And they're like, the early test screenings have positive reviews, then show us what they fucking saw. Show it. Let me be positive about it too. That's the thing. That's when you can usually tell if something's going to be good, is how far out you see it. Sometimes. That's kind of starting to not be true so much now, because they're releasing stuff closer to the release date of the movie now.
Sure.
But my rule of thumb usually was, hey, if I see a trailer for some shit and at the end it says coming soon or next summer or some shit, I'm like, this is going to be good. Because they showing me a trailer like 20 months out, and I'm like, yeah, they know that this is going to be good, and they're trying to get you on the hype train now.
Yeah, the 21st, I'm sorry.
Okay.
December 21st.
Oh, you too can have Jason Momoa as your Christmas present. But...
there is a teaser trailer.
For Aquaman?
It came out in February, I guess.
No. Fan-made bullshit. Nope. I've been avidly following this shit. That's why I get mad sometimes, too. Because I make fan videos as well. But I don't try to trick people into thinking that it's a legit trailer. Because I'll see people that'll make a fan video to a movie that don't exist, and it'll be like, official trailer for the, that one that you had sent me a link to, that Harley Quinn movie.
Oh, yeah.
Are you watching it?
No, I'm looking that they have a Dark Phoenix movie coming out.
Yeah, it was X-Men Dark... see, you weren't here for that last week, so you missed out on that one. Yeah, it's the sequel to X-Men Apocalypse. They're going to try to do the Phoenix story again. Because they already tried doing it in X-Men 3, and it was terrible. But I'm getting this from CBR.com. It says, a new article from The Hollywood Reporter notes that writer Dan Mazu, who will pen the script for an adaptation of Ernie Klein's Armada, worked on the upcoming Flash film when it was titled Flashpoint, indicating that the title has since changed. As for whether this means the film's story has changed, the writer of the article, Boris Kitt, later tweeted, I didn't say they weren't adapting Flashpoint. All I said was that it wouldn't be titled Flashpoint, but maybe I've said too much. So, yeah. Again, for those of you who may not know, the Flashpoint is the name of a storyline that happened in the comics around like 2011, where Barry goes back in time to stop the the murder of his mother. And he changes the past, and that has a ripple effect and changes the future. And from the point of him changing the past to the different future, they called it the Flashpoint. And so when he goes back to the present, everything's different. Bruce Wayne was killed instead of his parents as a child. So his dad becomes Batman. His mother becomes the Joker. Aquaman and Wonder Woman are beefing. So the Atlanteans and the Amazonians have this big war going on. It's just this whole thing. Like, the whole world's changed. Barry's no longer the Flash in the future. He fucked up everything. So he has to go back and fix it. Well, this has been assumed to be DC's way of retconning and fixing all the shit that they've fucked up so far in the DCEU. So all the drama with, Ben Affleck not wanting to be Batman no more, this would be their fix for all that kind of shit. Mm-hmm. This is how we can hit the reset button but not have to reboot everything. Which, honestly, there are only a handful of movies in at this point. Shit, people only like one of them. So you might as well just scrap everything. Keep Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
Right.
You can scrap everything else and nobody would give a shit. You'll have some people that would be like, well, Ben Affleck was the best Batman. No, he wasn't. I'm like, he had the best Batman fight scenes of any Batman, but yeah, Ben Affleck is definitely not the best Batman. Not at all. More from the article, it says, a lot of the instability surrounding The Flash has come from it failing to land and keep a director. It was only last month that Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly signed on. But before that, well, it was pure turmoil. Phil Lord and Chris Miller initially wrote the movie's treatment, but they couldn't direct due to a scheduling conflict. In April 2016, with Zack Snyder already shaping Ezra Miller as Barry Allen, The Flash for 2017's Justice League, Seth Grahame-Smith came on board to write and direct, but soon left due to creative differences. Rick Fumiyama followed himself, quitting just 6 months later for the same reasons. So we're already on director 5 at this point.
Right.
It says, however, The Flash slowly kept trying to make up ground with directors like Robert Zemeckis, Matthew Vaughn, Sam Raimi, and yes, even Ben Affleck being linked to the project. Lord and Miller, following their firing from the Han Solo movie, were even said to be circling back, only for Goldstein and Daly to eventually take the reins. So, they've been through 37 directors, 96 writers, and they still don't even have a title for the movie yet. So, that's why I started this by saying, I am convinced that Warner Brothers has no idea what the fuck they're doing.
No,
because everybody is like our favorite thing, we're leaving for creative differences. Which, at that point, it's like, okay, what is the vision that y'all want to be done? And why don't you hire someone who agrees with that vision or can execute that for you? Because clearly what you want done and what you're hiring these people for are not meshing together. So I'm of the mind that they aren't really giving them...
Maybe they're asking too much.
I got a feeling like they're not giving them a clear direction because Warner Brothers is really reactionary.
That could be too.
Because after every movie they put out, the moment somebody says something about it, because, for example, the Batman Superman versus Superman Justice League debacle, they thought for sure, BVS, this is the new Avengers. People are going to just love everything they see in this movie. It comes out, people are like, I don't know about this shit. You're like, shit, how far are we in the Justice League? Okay, scrap everything, stop.
Right.
Zack Snyder, you fire, get Joss Whedon in here and fix this shit.
Right.
So it's and the same thing in Wonder Woman, in Wonder Woman, for example. Now, Patty Jenkins luckily was able to stand her ground and got what she wanted to keep in the movie. But you know the scene where Diana finally helps in the war effort and she's helping allies to fight the...
Sure, where she's walking across the battlefield?
Yes, no man's land.
Yes,
where
yes.
you can't, you'll die, and she
no man's land.
The shield and the bullets are bouncing off.
Place for a woman.
Right, exactly.
Gotcha. One of my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
Love that scene.
So, and most people, in the trailer, that was the best shot in the trailer. I'm pretty sure most people would agree that that's the best scene in the movie. They wanted to cut that shit out. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? I don't know for time, or they just didn't think it would be relevant to the story.
How is it not relevant?
You could have cut it out, and the overall... It was more a message and a metaphor. I was going to say,
it wouldn't have the same message effect if you cut that out.
Sure, and that's probably what they're thinking.
And that would be the whole point of Wonder Woman.
Exactly.
She's Amazonian, fighting, battle, doesn't scare her, take no bullshit. I can hang with the big boys kind of superhero. That's the whole point of Wonder Woman.
You're goddamn right.
And the fact that they wanted to cut that out,
it's dumb, right?
Very,
I know, right?
very dumb.
Yeah. And so they wanted to cut that shit out, but she stood her ground and was like, no, like, I feel like this is important to the character and to tell her story, and I'm going to keep it in. So they, finally acquiesced and let her do it.
Maybe we just need more female directors.
I said from the get-go, if Patty Jenkins wanted to direct the next Superman movie, I would much rather her do it, because I'm pretty sure I said this before, Wonder Woman was more of a Superman than Superman was. So
well, maybe we should just... Warner Brothers should keep Patty Jenkins and be like, hey, see what you did with Wonder Woman? We got Batman, Superman, Aquaman, Flash.
Batman, I don't know about, but everybody else, I'll co-sign
Superman,
Flash, Aquaman. Please do something with Cyborg ass. Please do something with him.
He's just hanging out over there.
Because that boy over here like, booyah. And I'm like, oh my God. Duh.
It reminded me of the damn Teen Titans.
That's what they were going for. Because they added Joss Whedon. I'm pretty sure when he came in and did the reshoots, he added that in.
Oh, speaking of Teen Titans.
Sure.
We're getting a Teen Titans movie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, like a movie?
Like a live action movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. I think it was one of the trailers I sent you.
Yeah.
Possibly. Maybe not. I might not have sent that one. But it's got like Robin and Cyborg. Oh, yeah. It looks decent.
And that's why I keep getting so frustrated with DC or Warner Brothers and how they're using these DC characters. You can't have 19 different versions of the same character floating around. Okay?
Right.
It's like Marvel does a smart thing and they say, if we're going to make TV shows, we're going to take our most C and D list characters that we're never going to put in anything else and give them a show. You can't have 9 Flashes running around between TV and movies and shit like that. It's like you dilute the brand because it's like, well, what's so special about this Flash when I got these 6 other Flashes over here?
See, that's
and it's
like
then I got Batman on
Superman.
Gotham and this. Do we have more than one Superman? Well, I mean, actually, in the Supergirl show, Superman isn't that. Yeah, that's right. Now, I don't want to count Smallville and all that other shit. Because they weren't even making Superman movies at that point. But Superman Returns came out.
They had a lot of... They had the Superman Returns, and then they had a Superman previous to Superman Returns, but same actor, I think.
No, before Superman Returns,
was it just Superman Returns?
Yeah, it was just the
we had the 4
original,
with Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, it was just those.
And then on
because Superman Returns was supposed to have been a sequel to.
Okay, yeah. Well, in the 90s, we had the Lois and Clark Adventures, and we had the Superman whatever TV show that was short-lived, and then we had Smallville, which we'll throw in there.
Sure.
You know,
okay.
They've got all these different... even if we take Smallville out, they still have all these different avenues of Superman.
Yeah.
Where you're like, all right, well, I guess, if we're going to have 4 Supermans, we might as well. The 90s was big with that. They had a lot of Superman.
No, you're right. My argument with that would be, well, to piggyback off of what you said, with the 90s thing and Superman, that was right around the time when the Death of Superman story was going in the comics.
Yeah.
So then everybody was talking about Superman. I mean, that was such a big deal at that time to where it was in the news that Superman was killed off in the comics. And everybody's like, oh my God.
Right.
But, so everybody kind of had a Superman hard on during the 90s. But I'm more willing to excuse that because, like I said, that was like spread off like over a decade or so. They weren't simultaneously on TV and in the movies. Superman is everywhere you turn. But with Flash and then with everybody else, it's just like, hey, whatever thing you want to see him on, they'll be on it. Like, hey, you want to watch Flash's YouTube channel where he does his cooking show real fast? You can watch that too. Like, I mean, it's oversaturation.
Yes, I agree.
And so, I don't know. I don't know why they are diluting their characters so much. But with this movie, beyond the director drama and Ezra Miller not being able to run and any of this other shit, a lot of the actors might not even be in the movie. So, Billy Crudup, he plays Dr. Manhattan in Watchmen.
Yep.
And, he plays Barry's dad in Justice League. He's the one that's in prison that he goes to visit. And he's supposed to be a big part of his whole character arc and everything else. I'm almost sure that Billy Crudup might not even be his dad in the Flash solo movie whenever it gets made, because he has other obligations to other shit that he has to go do.
Right.
Just like Kiersey Clemons, she was going to play Iris West.
Okay.
And she doesn't. Well, they filmed a scene with her in Justice League that they cut out the movie, but now they're thinking that she might not even be in a solo movie because, again, she has other shit to go do. Same thing happened with Justice League. It's like you filmed the movie, Henry Cavill went off to go do some other shit, Mission Impossible, and it's like, shit, we gotta go reshoot the whole fucking movie, come back, and it's like, motherfucker, I done grew a mustache, and I'm like halfway in the film, and this shit, like, I can't just come back and do this bullshit. So it's like, set your plan, put it in motion, do your thing, and go.
And leave it once you get it done.
Thank you. Stop going back and fucking with it and tweaking it and all this shit. It's like...
It almost makes me think of if the first shoot is actually good and the finished product that we're getting is garbage because they've had to do so many reshoots.
Too many cooks in the
kitchen. Or
kitchen.
they've thought that they've had to go do so many reshoots. And you nailed it just right on the head right there. Too many cooks in the kitchen. You know, let one person do it and release what they've done, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, that's my thing too.
Not try to change things based on, oh, well, I don't know, and this might or might not work. Well, we're not going to let the people decide. We're just going to go ahead and change it. No, fuck that. Let us decide and call it good.
My thing is, I don't want to blindly just give the directors just complete carte blanche to just do whatever the fuck they want.
Right.
But at the same time, I feel like it has to be a balancing act. You know, like you have your directors and writers, like they're the more creative arm of the thing. And like your producers and stuff are like the money people and stuff. But at the same time, the studios sometimes know what they talk about. You know, what they're talking about. It's like, hey, you know, we aren't running this multi-billion-dollar corporation successfully and not know shit about movies.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, if you're going to hire me to do a job, don't micromanage me. You know, let me do my job.
Exactly.
You can give some notes and some pointers and say, hey, I'd like this to be a little bit more like this. And I can do that as long as you let me work within the scope of what you hired me to do.
Right.
But don't hire me, have me do a thing, and then come behind me and be like, oh, yeah, you got to undo all this shit. This is just all wrong. It's like, where have you been all this time? If you don't like the direction this shit is going, you couldn't have said months ago, like, hey, you know, let's sit down and assess what's going on.
Either do it all together, or let your directors do it and be done.
Exactly, yes.
There doesn't need to be this in-between middle, because that's what's causing these shitty movies.
It needs to be a symbiotic relationship where it's like...
I knew you were going to go there.
Right, like, seriously, where it's like, hey, we work hand in hand, we feed off each other, you know, you do your thing and that supports me, I do my thing and that supports you, and we just keep it moving.
Right.
Like it has to be a well-oiled machine with synchronicity and shit. But
I like that.
One of the rumors that have been floating around about this is that the reason that they can't quite get a script nailed down and this, that, and the other is that basically they're going to just make the Flash movie into like Justice League 1.5, where they're just going to throw everybody in there. And but then again, if they do make the Flashpoint movie, they're going to have all these characters in there anyway.
Yeah.
So there's been rumors that Henry Cavill's been on set. You know, they've already said that this is how they think they're going to get rid of Ben Affleck as Batman, so he's got to pop up in it in some way, shape, or form.
So they can kill him off?
Yeah, or pass the mantle on to something. You know what they're going to do, because it has to do with time travel and alternate dimensions and all that. They're going to be like, oh, you know, the Batman from our universe died.
So we're going to take your Batman.
Right. But this other universe that we were in doesn't exist anymore because we changed whatever, or it gets destroyed during the storyline, whatever. So you can come back with us to our world because we don't have a Batman no more. And now
it's going to be fucking Cloverfield all over again.
Yep. I got a feeling
we can't get rid of the damn movie.
No, and you're never going to. Right, they're going to pop up and Batman's going to be in a wall with worms in his face and a fucking gyroscope in his stomach and all kind of dumb shit. And he's going to have
made out of vibranium.
Right, he's going to have a real thick-ass Russian accent and shit. Yeah, it's going to be great. But I mean, it's possible that this still could end up being the Flashpoint movie and they just don't call it that. But My thing is, if you're going to make the Flashpoint movie, why would you call it anything but Flashpoint? Like, the moment we see the trailer and we see Barry go back in time,
you're going to be like,
we know what the fuck the story is. I mean, now, if you don't know anything about the comics, then you won't never know, no matter what they call it.
Right.
But it's like, the moment I see him talk about stopping his mother's death, I know where this is going. So it's like, why try to hide it? It's not going to be Flashpoint. It's going to be like
Clover Lane.
The Clover Flash Field Paradox Point. Written, directed, and produced by J.J. Abrams. Might as well. As soon as he finishes up with this Star Wars shit, give that to him too. Fuck it, why not?
For those of you who don't know, go back, check a couple episodes back. You'll figure it out.
Yeah. And apparently Cyborg is never going to get his own solo movie. He was supposed to be in the Flash movie.
Uh-huh.
Well, at first he was supposed to have his own movie. And then they were like, oh, we're going to do like a buddy team-up cop movie with him and Flash. And now I don't think he's going to even be in that anymore.
Now he's in the Teen Titans thing.
Yeah, sure.
That's his new, in air quotes, that's his movie. No.
Yeah, we don't just throw Cyborg in a Lego movie. He's going to be in Wreck-It Ralph 2, and we're just going to call it good with that, and you'll never see him again. Sorry, kid. But, I mean, I'm just to the point now where I swear, if this movie turns out bad, I am just completely washing my hands of DCEU. Like, I am just done. Like, I don't care what y'all put out, I'm done. Because you've only had one movie that I've actually kind of liked, so I would be dumb to keep giving you more of my money and more of my time to be disappointed again.
Or if you're going to watch it, at least it'll be like one of those things, I'm on Netflix, I already pay for Netflix, sure, right. I'm going to watch it for free kind of thing.
Well, it depends. If we're still podcasting, fast forward to 2019 or 2020, whenever the fuck this movie ever comes out, then we'll see. If we're still doing this, we'll have to watch it, but I've been trying to be selective. I haven't seen Pacific Rim 2 yet. I want to because I want to talk about it on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much other shit that I want to see where I'm just like...
Yeah, it kind of falls down the range.
Yeah, I was like, in priority. Sorry, guys. Hey, look. If you want to go ahead and sign up for our Patreon account and donate, I can quit my job and I can watch all the fucking movies y'all want me to. Just, food for thought.
Yeah. We wouldn't have to work as hard.
Right, we don't have a Patreon page.
No, not at all.
But if you'd be willing to give me money for it, I would totally make one. Just putting that out into the ether. There you go.
A GoFundMe.
Right. Go fund my Pacific Rim movie tickets, please. Thank you.
Go fund my OGLFG movie watching experiences.
Yeah, there you go. But one last thing. Okay. So I decided. We're running a little longer than I wanted to today. So, I promise, we will give it its whole little section next week. But, to be fair, the Han Solo trailer came out like 30 seconds ago. And I have no time to talk about this shit. I have nothing prepared, nothing at all. So, I promise, next week we will talk about Han Solo. But, not right now. Sorry. Sneak preview, I thought the trailer looked okay. It was kind of funny, but I thought it was being very meta, and I think that they're poking fun at the audience while they're in the process of showing you the trailer. But anyway.
See,
that was very cryptic. But
I don't know. I mean, you have more input on that than I do, because I'm so not a Star Wars kind of fan.
That's fair.
I mean, there was a couple parts where, as not being a Star Wars fan, I kind of chuckled, and I'm like, that was funny.
The Chewie being 190 line, that was good. That was a fun
where he's kind of chit-chatting with Chewie. I chuckled.
Yeah, no, that was good. I am excited to see Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian, though.
Yes.
Like, that is probably the shining moment in the trailer, is when he's like, oh yeah, I heard some stuff about you. Is it true? He's like, everything that you've heard about me
is true.
I was like, holy shit. And did you notice there was a little robot that was pouring liquor into his glass when he was saying that? 'Cause he was sitting like this. The first time I watched the trailer, I didn't notice the robot. I just noticed he was sitting like this in his drinks. But then this time I noticed that it was pouring liquor into his cup. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
Especially coming from Disney.
Yeah, right. I know. And I love the little line where he's like, you might want to sit down, baby. I was like, go get him. I'm taking my panties off right now, Donald. Thank you. But anyway, so yeah, we will talk about Han Solo in full, but not today. Sorry. Because we finna talk about Thanos, bitches.
List of priorities.
Right. So, call at me when Han Solo get an Infinity Stone, and then we'll give him his time. But, okay, so we may have a crisis on our hands. So, I am getting this from GamesRadar.com. So, the Russos were being interviewed, and they gave some news that made my heart sink. So, Anthony Russo says that all will be explained when people see the movie. When asked about Hawkeye's absence, which R.I.P. Hawkeye, I'm just going to say he's dead, because he may as well be dead the way they treat him. In a quote that fills me with dread. It's all tied into the story. Then they go on to say, we were considering showing Thanos' backstory, says Anthony Russo, but ultimately felt it wasn't necessary for the movie. While fans of the Mad Titan may be feeling a little sore that we don't get to see the method behind the madness, we're still getting an Infinity War, quote, told from his point of view, end quote, which is surely better than any shoehorned origin tale. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does you're telling it from his point of view? I mean, okay, sure. Does that mean that we get more scenes with him, or are we seeing the actions of the other characters played out specifically from his perspective? Which I know that's not going to be the case. I mean, just looking at the trailer, you know that that's not going to be the case. So,
I don't know. That's disappointing in so many lights.
Yeah, well, okay. I want to start by saying this. The Russos and Marvel specifically have very good credit with me, okay? They have had a couple movies that weren't the greatest.
Right.
But they haven't, I mean, say what you will about Iron Man 3 and Thor the Dark World.
Yeah, I liked Iron Man 3 and Thor.
Most people say that those are the weakest ones of all the Marvel movies. For me, it's the first Ant-Man.
I wasn't digging Ant-Man at all.
But he redeemed himself in Civil War, and I'm excited to see Ant-Man and the Wasp.
He did.
Yeah, no, people say that Iron Man 3 and Thor the Dark World are the weakest of the Marvel movies, which I can agree to a point, but I don't think they're bad movies. No. I mean, all things considered, I would watch Thor the Dark World and Iron Man 3 a million times over before I watch Justice League again. So I'm like, I will watch that shit over and over again. I can't, I'm sorry. Or, okay, I'll stop beating that dead horse. I would watch fucking The Dark World over Amazing Spider-Man 2 any fucking day of the week. Because I love Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I love Spider-Man, and that movie is fucking terrible.
Garbage.
He was like, didn't you know I'm Electro? Like, what the fuck? Like, is we rapping now? Like, what is this? Anyway, Jamie Foxx was still on that Ray Charles shit, I guess. I don't know. But you know, they have given me so many good movies that I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
Especially like with the Russos. Like with them, these dudes came from directing TV shows, TV comedies like Community and shit like that. They went on to direct Captain America's best 2 movies of his trilogy, you know, Civil War and Winter Soldier and Civil War. And they gave them the reins to both the last 2 Avengers movies, so I will trust in their judgment. They haven't done me wrong yet. But please just don't fuck this up, Russos. Like, we've come way too far now to fuck up and drop the Thanos ball. Because as we were saying off mic, after Killmonger, and I got a couple others, Killmonger, the Vulture, and Loki are the only good villains we've had in the MCU.
Sure.
Other ones were okay, but these were like standouts. You know?
Sure.
And especially after Killmonger, which Black Panther is the very last movie that people are going to be coming off the heels of before Infinity War, you got to come correct with Thanos. Because Killmonger was layered and deep, and he wasn't one-dimensional, and he was charismatic. Like, I almost wanted him to win at the end of the movies. I'm like, even though I know, you know, he's I get what he's trying to do. He's just going about it in a fucked up way. But I kind of want to see him win. Because he just sold me that well on his
We did
character.
the same with Loki.
Exactly.
I mean, when Loki... The end of the first Thor... We were rooting for Loki.
Mm-hmm.
Can't talk tonight.
I was gonna say, you turn into fucking Scooby-Doo. Roki and Raggy got Ruby Racks. Like, what the fuck is he saying?
Loki. Mm-hmm. We were rooting for Loki, and it continued throughout the Thor movies.
Oh yeah.
And even when we saw him in Ragnarok, you're like, oh, did Loki turn over a new leaf? Nope, he didn't. He's still...
Didn't you kind of feel bad for Loki because Thor finally...
He uses him.
No, well, because like Thor in all the movies, he's always been the one of like, brother, we can stand together with Father and Odin and Asgard and all this shit. And finally in Ragnarok, he was like, man, I know you on some bullshit. Like, we all know you finna fuck me over. Like, I don't trust you as far as I can throw your ass, and I can throw you about to here. So that's about as far as I trust you.
I thought the irony was... kind of comedic.
Oh yeah, no, but I like that Thor as a character grew and was like, like, I love you, like, you still my brother, but...
we all know what you're gonna do.
Yeah, he was like, I know you ain't shit. You know you ain't shit. He's like, let's not pretend. like, we ain't even finna, even play this game. Like,
how long are we gonna do this dance?
Like, you know what time. You knew what this was.
We destined to do this dance forever.
It's like that person you meet at the bar and y'all go have a one-night stand and then they get to calling you and it's like, you knew what this was. Don't be...
Don't play.
Look, stop it. But anyway, they sold this entire movie on, I mean, besides the we've been building to this with the stories and everything else.
Right.
They sold this whole thing on Thanos.
Right.
Thanos was the big deal. Like, even at the end of the first Avengers, you see him just for a quick second.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't even know who he was at that time. Like, I have read comics and, been entrenched in superhero shit my whole life, but I was very vague on who Thanos was at that time.
Right.
So I had to go and do my homework.
Right, as did I.
So once I knew the character and what he was about and shit, I was like, oh, I can't wait to see this. Like, when I read the Infinity Gauntlet story, I was like, holy shit, like, this is going to be crazy. And I never thought that they would actually make it. And it seems like they're kind of not, because they're changing a lot of his motivations for why he's doing it.
Yeah.
So, okay, so for those of you who may not know, in the comics, the whole reason that Thanos gets the Infinity Stones is because he's trying to impress Death. Like, there's a physical embodiment of Death, and it's a woman. Not Hela, who calls herself Mistress Death, who we think she's going to take the role of Death from the comics. But anyway, he's trying to get the stones to impress her. And once he gets all the stones, she's still not impressed. So he's like, okay, I know. He's like, you're Death, so you want stuff to die. That will make you happy. So he wipes out half the life of the universe. And in the trailer, they make it seem like, oh, that's what he's going to do. But that's what was so cool about it in the comic was that it was kind of like Watchmen in that way. Mm-hmm. Where they confront Ozymandias and they're like, you got to stop or whatever. And he's like, I did that 35 minutes ago.
Like, well, what am I stopping?
Right,
it's already been done.
Right. They did.
They're like, you're late to the party here.
What are you talking about? Like, their blood is dry now. What do you mean? And with Thanos, the comic starts off with him getting the Infinity Stones, and then he snaps his finger and wipes out half the life in the universe. Then the Avengers go and confront him. Right. So a bunch of characters are already dead before they even get to him. So that's why I'm like, they're obviously already changing it, but the cool thing about that story was that you saw Thanos go and collect each stone individually and who had it and how he got it from them. Right. Because it was never just, I'll overpower you and kill you and take it.
Oh, of course not. There was always a powerful overtaking.
Right, because the person has an Infinity Stone, so they're no bitch either. Like, I can take care of myself, but Thanos always found a way to trick them or like pull one over on them to get it from them. Yep. So that is what made that cool, is because I understood his motivation. I understood who he was as a villain and why he was doing what he was doing and how he got to this point. In the movies, we haven't gotten any of that. Like, if I didn't have any of this back information, I wouldn't know shit about Thanos. The only information we've got about him has been through the Guardians movies.
Yes.
From Nebula and Gamora. Like, especially much more in the second one.
Yeah, there was a lot of information about him in that second one.
Where, what was it? She explains about how he, kidnapped them and raised them as his own. He made them fight each other, and if she lost, he'd hurt her and shit and, mutilate her body and all this fucked up shit. So that has given us the most information we've ever had about Thanos in the MCU. All we know is that he's a purple dude on a chair with little rockets on the side that floats and he's got a bunch of gold armor on and he wants the stones. Why?
We don't know.
The trailer, the little line that Gamora says about what he wants to do with stones and balancing life in the universe and this, that, and the other, that is the first time we've heard that at all. And we are 10 years later from, not 10 years from the first Avengers, maybe more.
Yeah, we are.
I thought Iron Man is what they're counting from. Iron Man came out in 2008, I think. And that's what we're counting from. I don't think we're counting from Avengers 1. I could be wrong, though. She's like, let me look this shit up. This nigga. What the fuck you talking about?
No, Iron Man came out in 2008.
Yeah. So you gotta remember, there was Iron Man 2, Thor, and Hulk.
That was still 10 years ago.
Yeah, from the first Iron Man, but the Avengers didn't come out until Iron Man was already on his second movie. And Thor and Cap had come out by that point. And the Incredible Hulk. Avengers has got to be 2012 or something. Yeah. Okay.
Avengers was 12.
Okay, so we're counting from Iron Man then. Okay. So we don't actually see Thanos for the first time until 2012. So we've only been on the Thanos kick for 6 years. But as far as the MCU as a whole, 10 years. But still, for the last 6 years, you've been cock-teasing us about this dude. You finally are making this movie, and at first it was going to be Infinity War Part 1 and 2, and then they're like, no, we're not going to call it that. It was to be Infinity War and then some other untitled still movie.
Right.
Which we know Josh Brolin is going to be playing Thanos in that next Avengers movie. We don't know what it's about, what the fallout of this one's going to be, whatever. But that being said, the whole point, I thought, of making it a 2-part movie was so you can go, we're going to spend this whole first half getting Thanos established. You're going to know who he is. You're going to have all him vetted. And you get all the information you can.
And then you'll be waiting for part 2 to
right,
come
and then
in.
The next movie, now you can go. Because that's what's so cool. Think about it. What is the best part about the Avengers movies? Not counting the action and the special effects and this, that, and the other. What is the best part about seeing those movies?
The second teaser after the credits?
Not counting that. As far as character stuff.
How they all kind of, they build on each other.
Exactly. The main thing you want to see is, I can't wait to see when such and such talks to such and such.
Right.
Like in the trailer, the first time you saw Iron Man and Star-Lord talking to each other, that was a, moment, jizz just everywhere. But with Thanos, they could have did the same thing. If you would have taken the time in the first movie or the first half of the first movie, got us invested in him, then we'd be like, I can't wait until Tony and Thanos finally confront each other. I can't wait until Cap and Thanos see each other.
Sure, you got this great contrast of the hero versus the villain kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And that build makes for a good movie.
Yes, it's that anticipation because you want to see, how they're going to react to each other and what kinds of things they're going to say to each other and things like that. That's the meat of these movies to me.
Right.
It's the fighting and superpowers, all that stuff is cool, but if I didn't care about the characters, then none of it would matter.
Exactly.
So don't shortchange Thanos for, I don't know if it's runtime he says in the article, we didn't feel that it was important to the story. What does that mean? It is important to the story. We care. The people who've been watching these movies for 10 years, we want to see where this is going.
Right. I don't know. Maybe it has to do with all their reshoots. Because I was, no, I don't remember the website at this point in time.
But you're right. They are reshooting.
They have done reshoots.
Yeah.
And there's been talk from Chris Evans. And there's been talk from a couple other characters about these reshoots. And they're including, mentions of Hugh Jackman being on these reshoots now. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if they're cutting out part of Thanos to include...
I'll be mad as hell.
Maybe X-Men?
I would be mad as fuck.
I'm not saying that would be a good thing. I'm just saying that
I know, but I'm just telling
possible,
you, I would be mad as hell.
With all these reshoots that they're doing, that maybe they're trying to link them. Because we've been separate parallel universes here.
Sure.
all the Avengers and then X-Men. If they're trying to link the two.
People have had some theories too, especially about the next Avengers movie after Infinity War, which we still don't know what it's called. Mm-hmm. Because from the little set photos that have leaked and stuff like that, it seems like they're going to either be doing time travel or they're going to be going to alternate universes. Like they're going to open up the multiverse.
Right.
Which, if they do open up the multiverse, that is an easy way to incorporate anything you want to at that point. Because then you can just be like, yeah, the X-Men have always existed. They've just been over here in this pocket universe. And Fantastic Four have always been here. They've just been over here in this pocket universe. Now we can just bring them all in together. So you don't have to explain, where have they been during the first Avengers movie in New York? Why didn't the X-Men come help during that? And you don't have to explain any of that shit. You just be like, we just didn't know that they existed. Now we're all connected. And it's all good. Boom, done.
We take Thor's bridge.
Pretty much, man. In which I'm almost certain that's what's going to end up happening. That's going to be the way... That's if they don't just say fuck it and retcon it and do the whole thing over. Like I said with the whole Spider-Man thing, they might just be like, we go starting clean slate, new paint, new shrubs, and we got a new X-Men team. Fuck you, Jackman and all them.
They better not.
That's why I'm like, man, Deadpool. Look, Ryan Reynolds better get that Deadpool money while he can, because that mouse, he gonna come in here and I want that son of a bitch off this lot right now. But no, what were you gonna say? What were you gonna say?
Oh my god. I don't know. I mean, they're trying with the young generation X-Men cast.
Yeah.
You know, the ones that they started in the
Days of Future Past.
Yeah, the Days of Future Past and stuff. If they're trying to lead up to that cast of X-Men coming in, I'll be done. That's it. I'm like, no.
Keep all them.
Because, I mean... In and of itself, Days of Future Past was a decent movie.
Yeah, sure.
The Apocalypse movie was a decent movie.
Was it though?
I liked it.
That's debatable. But go ahead, sure.
The X-Men movies that they've had with this prequel thing that they got going, they're okay. Sure, they're not as good as the first three.
No.
But they are, they're tolerable.
Sure.
Way more than anything that Warner Brothers has put out. So. We'll go with that.
Sorry, Warner Brothers. Y'all just are beating horse tonight.
But if they're trying to completely replace the original X-Men and this be the new face and tie it in with Thanos and within the rest of the MCEDU, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Me neither. And I mean,
I said EDU.
I caught that, and I was just going to edit it out.
No.
But now that you bring it up,
MCEU. I told you.
I was just going to cut the DU off, but no, I'm glad you caught that.
I can't talk tonight.
Oh, it's all good. It's all
the Monday.
I know, it's the Monday blues.
Yeah.
But one thing that I thought was kind of dumb is, what's the point of having two Avengers movies back to back if you still have to cut shit out?
Yeah, I don't know.
If you're gonna make a direct sequel to this and continue on,
right?
Why are you still having to cut shit out of the first movie? Like, you have all this movie to do that. You don't have to. I don't know. And I mean, I know studios like to do this thing where they like to keep movies under a certain runtime because you get more plays in the theater.
Right.
If it runs for too many hours, then it's like, okay, well, you can't get as many show times.
Right.
So maybe they're just trying to figure out a way to maximize their profits. But I'm like, this has been 10 years in the making. If there was any movie you could be like, we not worried about that kind of shit, this would be the movie where it's like, you know what? 6 hours, put it out there. If they like it, they will go see it again every day until the shit's not in theaters no more.
Right.
They could care less about how
see
many
it 4 times a day.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So, I mean, like, yeah, if you were going to take a risk and do something like that, this would be the time to do it. But apparently, they're not going to. But I think that you remember the little scene where Thanos is putting out his hand and little Gamora is like grabbing his pinky or whatever. And he's walking with her.
Yes.
That's just probably getting cut out of the movie.
Probably.
Because that would be part of his backstory, I would assume. Unless it's from Gamora's point of view and she's having a flashback. But at that point, it's like, okay, how many fucking different people have flashbacks in this movie? Like, either let Thanos have his flashbacks to explain what he's been doing this whole time.
Or cut out everybody's.
Right, or don't have any. But don't be like, oh, yeah, so what have you been doing, Hawkeye, since Civil War? It's like, well, I'm glad you asked, Tony. Let me tell you. And then he's dead. But yeah, I mean, like I said at the beginning, I have faith in the Russos. I definitely have faith in Marvel. Kevin Feige, I have a picture of you over my bed that I pray to every night. But him and his little Marvel hat and shit. But, you know, I still am kind of sort of taking it with a grain of salt, but I'm not going to lie, it does make me a little nervous that they're chopping out parts of Thanos.
Well, only thing we can hope for is that it comes back in either a sequel or a Thanos individual backstory movie. Which
it'll be some deleted.
That'd be alright. Yeah.
It'll be like, look at all this. This is the Zack Snyder cut of Infinity War. Look at all this shit we added back in. Look at how great it is now.
Yeah.
But anything you want to add to the whole Thanos nonsense before we go?
I mean, we're just going to have to go with what they've got. They haven't let us down so far.
Yeah.
So, you know, Marvel comes in and they hit us with a film and they're like, boom, here it is.
It's giving me all this anxiety because I'm like, oh, man. Like, I was so geeked and nothing was like even, everything I was seeing and hearing about it was just more hype level, just kept continuing to rise. And then I hear this and I'm like, oh.
No, I don't know. I got enough other things to worry about, I think.
Sure.
Whether or not they pull Thanos' backstory, it won't really hurt me until I'm in the theaters and I'll be like, oh.
Yeah. It's like, oh, well, okay, I guess. Yeah, there is that. And I mean, hell, who knows? Maybe they'll expound upon it even more in the second one.
Right. We never know.
Yeah, I mean,
like I said, they're Marvel. They're usually pretty good about getting us.
Yeah, like I say, and
those BAM movies, you know, where they're really good. I mean, honestly, if you take a look back from Avengers all the way up until what we got now, and even if you want to throw the X-Men in there, even though they're different, sure, whatever. Sure. I like them. I mean, I can't think of very many Marvel movies where I'm like, oh my god. There's two Spider-Man ones that I'm like, yeah, no, that's garbage.
Yeah.
But
No, but it's Marvel characters in general, I think, you know, they touch a chord with people in ways that DC characters don't so much. Because if you think about it, just because people will make the argument of, oh, well, DC has better comics and better animated movies and TV shows and this and the other. And it's like, that's debatable, but as far as like movies, the only consistent character in the whole DC roster that has ever been a mainstay go-to has been Batman. Batman, that is your only trump card.
And you
Batman.
know, people ask me, as somebody who really likes Batman, they're like, well, do you like DC or do you like Marvel? Those that don't know me right away, that, you know, can't see Batman plastered all over my apartment.
Right.
You know, they'll look at me and they ask me, are you DC or Marvel? And I'll be like, I like Marvel movies. Oh, well, who's your favorite superhero? Batman. And I get this look like they're afraid to ask of, do you know that Batman's not Marvel?
Right. Did she know? Should I say something?
And every time I see that face, I'm like, I know Batman is DC. However...
Right. You asked me who my favorite superhero was.
My favorite superhero is Batman. As a universe, collectively, I prefer Marvel.
Agreed.
I mean...
But hey, you never know. You know, we got Aquaman and Flash right around the corner. That might change your mind.
I'm waiting. Oh, speaking of Marvel.
Sure.
Miss Marvel is supposed to make an appearance in this.
Yes, yeah.
So maybe that was another reason that they had to cut out some Thanos backstory, is to work in Miss Marvel's backstory.
Sure,
or
which that movie...
introduce her. I don't know. There's so many different parts going.
Yeah.
And so many different things that we hear leaking. Like, you know, maybe there's Wolverine on the set. Maybe there's Miss Marvel in here. Maybe there... We really don't know.
I'm pretty sure Ryan Reynolds was spotted on the set too. So
Yep. I heard that too.
I made that last part. That could be going around. That could be going around, but I was just throwing out some shit. I
really did hear about Hugh Jackman though.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure you saw anything about it too.
I did, and there's been a lot of talk of his new suit. So that's supposed to get introduced into.
I really wish they do. Again. Yes, I want the yellow spandex, bitches. Don't.
Well, the one that I saw has got blue and yellow. It's not necessarily spandex, but it's definitely got the blue and yellow.
I can live with that. Like
it's more of a gold, but still.
I can live with that. Like I said, it doesn't have to be like verbatim the old cartoon show costumes, but like I said, First Class was probably the perfect interpretation of those costumes. Mm-hmm. Like they were practical, but they still had the color scheme, and it still made sense.
Yep.
You know, they basically were like, hey, we're flying in this jet thing, these are our jumpsuits, for parachuting and shit. And I was like, that's a good enough explanation for me, and I'll buy it, and I went with it, and they looked dope. Except Magneto, he looked so dumb in this shit. He had on this gray helmet with the yellow and blue, and I was like, you don't fit in this group. I'm like,
was your costume designer colorblind?
Right, I'm like, get him in his red, and give him his cape, and let him go do his thing. He don't look right wearing this shit. But yeah. Anyway, I've done enough tangents for the night.
Yeah, I think we're.
Yeah, I think we're done.
I think we're good. We're at a good point where we can,
wrap that shit up, B. We're gonna get that boxing special. Wrap it up. All right, so I'll give you the spiel. That's it for the show, guys. Remember, you can always find us at our home at onegiantleapforgeeks.libsyn.com. Or you can find us on iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, YouTube, or anywhere else you get your podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, rate, follow, review, etc. So then we know that you endured
that you endured this torture that is an hour and a half show.
Yes. So,
and if you got any questions that you want us to answer on the show, any comments, criticisms, please be nice with them. We accept all opinions, but don't be a dick. Or, you just want to say hi, you can always email us at officialoglfg@gmail.com, and you can also find us on Twitter, at Giant Leap, 4 Geeks. We're on Facebook, Reddit, Tumblr, Pinterest, Instagram. All you have to do is search for One Giant Leap for Geeks. All right, bye.